Joining me now is Brian Katrek of Sirius PGA Radio. Hey, Brian, how are you?
I am great. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks so much for taking a couple minutes to talk about the second major of the year, the PGA Championship at Oak Hill. Everybody's excited. I know the course has undergone some changes. What are the players saying about how it looks?
Everybody is intimidated right now, and they're a little scared that it's going to be too hard for them. Now, this is a familiar refrain that we see at the beginning of a bunch of major championships because the goal is to make it hard, and so it's obviously going to be difficult. But right now, there's a lot of players thinking 7 or 8 under par is going to win, and at the beginning of a week, that's pretty intimidating right now.
Does the course best suit any particular player's style, do you think?
You definitely have to drive the ball straight. However, over the years, what we've seen, you could say that at the beginning of every major championship, because what we're talking about are firm targets and long rough, and you're punished if you miss. So think about the difference of trying to land the ball in your front yard versus trying to land the ball in the street in front of your front yard. The firmer the golf course is, the narrower the target becomes effectively. But that's the way it is at every major. So we say that at the beginning of every week, and guys figure out a way to get through. So honestly, we'll say the same things we say all the time. You need to be able to keep the ball in play. Good iron play is going to be important. You look at some of the guys like John Rahm and Scotty Scheffler who excel on hard golf courses. The list of who's likely to win is the same as it has been the last year or so with these guys.
Let's go through a couple of individual golfers. I mean, starting with Rahm and the year that he has had and the kind of golf that he's playing. And with you just mentioning, that this is a surface, a firmness that might suit his style. Any reason to think that he can continue to have the kind of year that he's been having here at this second major?
Well, not only yes, but definitely yes. Now we're a lot different than Augusta National because the second cut of grass here is a lot longer and the misses are punished more. Now, John didn't have a lot of those misses, and he's also won a U.S. Open at Torrey Pines, which has the same set of circumstances that we have here. He's also a great putter, and you need to be a great putter because all of this trouble that we're talking about leads to inevitably you're going to have 6, 8, 10 footers for par that you're going to have to make. You're going to have scrambling opportunities, so you have to be good there, and the whole field's going to have a lot of those. The harder it is, the more greens everybody's going to miss. And John Rahm just seems mentally prepared right now. So, yeah, I believe there's a lot of reason to think that his winning streak is going to continue.
What do you think about Jordan Spieth? Has been dealing with a little bit of a nagging wrist injury, going for that elusive career Grand Slam. What's the latest that you're hearing sort of on his health and his potential this weekend?
Oh, well, I was just out there watching Jordan a little bit, and it's a cold day. It's a day that not a lot of folks are playing practice rounds, but Jordan's getting his work in, and, wrist injuries they're really tricky, especially for golfers. You can clearly understand why. They're very important. So I think the week of rest that he got last week was very important, but he's still a big question mark. He's out there trying as we speak on a Wednesday. He's trying. And I admire him for trying. So we just have to see. I don't think Jordan knows as of right now.
Is this a weekend where Rory McIlroy could do well? Is he going through something? He's seemed frustrated. The Masters has obviously eluded him. I think some would say he's tried to white knuckle that tournament almost too much, that he almost wants it too bad. I mean, how is he playing? How does he seem to you?
Jason Sobel, who's one of our guys on our team this week, just said it wouldn't surprise me if he won by 6 or 7 shots, and it wouldn't surprise me if he missed the cut by 6 or 7 shots. And so, unfortunately, I can't narrow it down for you. Rory McIlroy is the guy that's won the PGA Championship. He's won 2 different majors by 8 shots. They won this tournament by 8 shots at Kiowa Island. That's the largest margin of victory in tournament history. So, is he capable of that? Of course he is. Is that the guy that's going to show up? Is the game going to be there? Is his head going to be there? On the golf course, which is all we can really talk about, he has battled a wayward driver and a wayward putter this season. Those are bad things to be battling. However, he's also won this season, so he's gotten past it. Rory McIlroy is a gigantic coin toss right now.
What about some of the live golfers who are in the field this weekend? First of all, has there has there been any carryover with, this sort of civil war clashing of these two groups again at another major? If not, which live golfers do you think look really good heading into this week?
Well, that's been, if you're trying to stay in the middle with live, which most of us are, that's been the actual problem, is we don't really know how to judge what happened. Dustin Johnson just won, and Cam Smith was in the playoff with him. And what was that worth? We have no idea. We don't know the golf course setup in Tulsa, 54 holes. We don't know what the attitude is. The depth of the field clearly isn't what it was even in Dallas for the PGA Tour, and that wasn't even a big week for the tour as far as depth of field. So we just don't know what that win means. Brooks Koepka showed us that, yeah, he can come out after that sort of preparation and still contend, which he did at the Masters. You look at Phil's performance and Patrick Reed's performance at the Masters, they fall into that category, I think, of guys that have a good feel for that course. And we learned over the years that if you have the feel for Augusta, it doesn't matter what you've been doing. Tiger has proven that to us over and over again. If you know what you're doing there, you could be bowling for the last year, show up, and you're probably going to do okay. But Koepka wasn't on that list, and he showed us a little something. So, we don't know what those wins mean. But to the first part of your question, that's not going on inside the ropes. The names, the players have been dropped out of the lawsuit now. Nobody's suing anybody else. The animosity wasn't as much as people thought it was, and what's left because of the lawsuit is gone. Brooks and Rory played a practice round together at the Masters, for example. We got guys that are crossing fairways together, from one group and the other group. They're still friends. So I think much of that has been overblown.
How much confidence do you think Brooks Koepka took away from his performance at the Masters, especially for those of us who watch Full Swing and whose eyes were kind of open to some of the true adversity that he was feeling and the doubt that he was carrying shortly before he decided to go over to live, to be back on the biggest stage in the sport and to perform so well. How far do you think that extends into a weekend like this for Koepka?
A long way. I think that's one of the things we really want to see, because again, we have not seen him since then. The events, they're hard to find. Even if you have seen them, you got a chance to attend them. We don't know what those performances mean. So I really can't wait to see. I personally think he got a lot of confidence out of it. I think that's exactly what he was looking for. It was what he was looking to prove to himself. We know that Brooks Koepka is an absolute beast at the top of leaderboards. Now, bad news is he coughed up a lead, which he never does. Good news is he had a lead, which he hadn't had in a while. So I think you focus on the positive. He's about to be a father, too. They just announced they're pregnant. So there's a lot of positivity in Brooks Koepka's world right now. I think you just stay with that.
Yeah, good to see. And for Justin Thomas, who has struggled to kind of find that magic, that spark, what chances do you give him this weekend?
He's got better than a puncher's chance. He's the defending champion. Justin Thomas goes as his putter goes. And there's a lot of guys in this field that are like that. Scotty Scheffler's like that as well. Rory McIlroy's like that as well. These guys are going to give themselves chances. They'll have enough chances to win. If 10 under par is going to win this, these guys can have more than 10 birdie putts the first day. They could have gotten there mathematically the first day. Question is, how many of them are good and how many of them do you make? So Justin Thomas just trying the aim point, hasn't quite gotten it figured out. If this is a good aim point week for him, he's going to be in contention.
And what have you seen from Bryson DeChambeau? Maybe losing a little bit of weight, tinkering with some things, making some changes. What are your impressions of how he's playing right now?
Yeah, no idea. To be honest with you, Bryson has talked over our heads his entire career. I've never understood what he was doing. Don't understand what he's doing now. The bulking up and getting faster made sense. Made so much sense that, of course, he abandoned it. So I don't know why he would abandon it. It seemed like a great idea. That it's the way around the rules right now. Is just get your ball to go faster. I liked that plan. He couldn't sustain it, which was always the question mark. So no idea where he is right now whatsoever. The field of expectations for Bryson is wider than it is for Rory. Although I probably can't imagine Bryson winning this golf tournament right now. He has not shown us winning form in quite some time.
I appreciate the analysis, Brian. Just before I let you go, I mean, I'm thinking based on what you're kind of describing with how wide open this thing could be and how anybody could show up, that it's really difficult to handicap. But just heading into it, is it fair to say that Scotty Scheffler and John Rahm are the guys who should be out in front of this? I mean, how do you sort of handicap such an unpredictable field, especially when you don't really have the same playing field with what the live guys are doing and what the guys on the tour are doing?
Yeah, it's really hard. So you just look at the guys in major championships and do the best you can. This year is harder than normal. There's no reason to think that Rahm is not going to be a part of this. It feels like this tournament runs right through his backyard. Feels like Scotty Scheffler, who came down all the way to the 72nd hole last week with a chance to win, feels like it runs through his backyard also. We don't know which Rory's going to show up. Max Homa's a great call. Keegan Bradley's a great call. Dustin Johnson just won. Why not Brooks Koepka? I mean, we can go down a bunch. I think there are over 80 players in this field that have won a PGA Tour event. So it's a lot of guys that know they can. We'll see who actually does.
It makes it really fun. Appreciate the time. Enjoy the week and into the weekend. Thanks so much for being with me.
Thanks for having me.